Guys, with 1 week left to go before Axialfest, I wanted to go over my rig with you, show you what we got going on here. Again, this started off as a brand new RTR Axial SCX10 3 Jeep Gladiator. We've done a few light modifications to it. We got some cosmetic modifications that we've done to it. We're going to talk about all that in today's episode.
Excellent!
What is up, guys? Thanks again for watching Poor Boys RC. Guys, the Jeep Gladiator is looking so good. It is ready for Axialfest 2024. I am stoked. I've got a bunch of upgrades done to the Jeep, but before we talk about those, let's talk about rubber. Now, no, I'm not going to be running these tires. These are an old set of Mickey Thompson Baja Claws that I had years and years ago. I ran these on an Axial Wraith I owned many moons ago, but I'm going to take these tires off and I'm going to use these beadlock wheels. These are just like a no-name, I think maybe even like an Endura or something like that, but a nice metal beadlock wheel. Shout out to my buddy Simon for suggesting going with beadlock because it definitely will add a little more weight down low. The stock wheels, I actually love the look of the stock rims on these SCX10 3s, but they're plastic and they don't have as much weight as obviously an alloy or metal would. So I'm gonna keep these on to start off with because I actually really like the way these tires perform. I'm gonna give them a shot, but when the time is right, I've got these wheels and they're gonna go on these tires, which I've had for some time, waiting for the right rig to put them on. My initial thought was to put them on my MST CFXW DC1, but it's a Land Rover and it just looks so good with skinny tires. These are actually really tall and really wide, and I didn't want to lose that skinny tire look. All of you Land Rover guys out there will know what I'm talking about, especially if you watched the original Camel Trophy series from back in the day. They all had skinny tires, so no skinny tires for the SCX10. We're gonna go wide tires. Look at that tread pattern, guys. It's just, I still find it really incredible how well they can scale down a tread pattern. Not to mention the fact that this compound is really nice and sticky. Yeah, single stage foam in there, but these things are just grippy, really sticky. And come on down here and take a look and you can see that these RTR tires are quite tall and quite wide, and these BF Goodriches are just as tall, just as wide, completely, like totally different tread pattern. You can see like the really aggressive mud terrain style pattern on these Nittos, and this is more of an all-terrain style KO2. So night and day, I think, in terms of looks. I'm really curious to see how they're gonna perform. I'm really stoked to try these guys out. If any of you guys have feedback on these, positive or negative, do let me know because I'd like to hear your feedback on them. So that covers wheels and tires. Check out the front, little more RC four-wheel drive action up front there, guys. That's a winch, and it does work. I've actually had that winch for probably 8 or 9 years now, and I've never actually used it. I bought it when I first got into rock crawling, and that was with my CC01 trail truck riding, really. And you can see by the scale, this is just way too big for a CC01. And it's just kind of sat in a parts bin. And to be honest, I forgot I had it. So I went through all my old crawler stuff, found that it fits perfectly. It's a little big. Scale-wise, it's not too bad. I don't know if I'll be using it. I don't have like any way to activate it. I did some searching online for different ways to make the winch operational. I am using the RTR radio that this came with, so the third channel is already spoken for the dig function, so I can't use that. So there are separate like on-off switches and stuff. Maybe I'll get one. We'll see. You guys let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of like if there's like a little onboard switch or something I can mount out here, or where I can just kind of activate it so it reels and retracts, because it would be kind of cool to have it functional, but it's not the end of the world to me. I'm just happy that it's there. I think it looks super rad, and it's finally being put to use. And check out the rest of this body here, guys. I did a couple slight changes. You keen-eyed Jeep folk may have noticed. We've got some satin black up here and some satin black on the hood. A lot of these Jeeps do come with like a satin black decal on the hood from factory, so I replicated that. I just had like a roll of satin black masking film that I bought from Amazon, so I put that on there and cut it to shape. I did not do the best job here, but it's good enough. It's gonna get beat up anyway. Anytime I've driven one of these Jeeps, I've had the removable hardtop, and they're obviously made of like a black plastic, a slightly different material than the rest of the roof sometimes. I'm not a huge Jeep guy, I don't know everything about them, but I wanted to make them stand out a wee bit, so I also wrapped them in the satin black. I think they've got a nice look to them. Again, it's not perfect. There's a couple air bubbles and stuff in there, but it came out looking really good in my opinion. In a sea of RTRs, it stands out a little bit, and I'm pretty stoked with how that turned out. Moving into the back, speaking of you know, making it look a little more scale. We've got the big Tamiya surfboard there. This actually came with my Tamiya Hilux high lift truck that I purchased many, many moons ago. And I've never actually used it on that truck. Kind of got a second life here on the back of this SCX10 3. And I just had some scale little toe straps and a little bit of clever two-sided tape on the underside to keep it nice and sturdy. So that guy is there. It's not going anywhere. And if you look really closely in the box right there, you can see a Tamiya manta ray, and that is so cool. That was actually gifted to the channel by Bryce from Jacko Trades. Thanks, Bryce. This thing is so cool. So a little bit of shoe goo on the bottom of it and stuck her down in place, and now we're still representing a little bit of the Tamiya. Some of the red and blue out there. You know, Axial says don't bring other vehicles. This is an Axial event, so I'm kind of sneaking one in under the radar here. I hope. Hopefully, no one will get too excited about that, because if you look at this accessory rack back here, it really, you know, really does lend itself to having a few sand ladders on there. And I bought some on Amazon, but in my haste, I ended up buying 124 scale sand ladders, which aren't going to fly. So I've got a new set coming. They'll be here in a day or two, but I'm running out of time for this video. So I don't have them to show you guys today, unfortunately. I do still have this high lift jack we're going to install on there. We've got this big, long, cool scaled chain thing we're going to put on there. So I'll figure that out once the sand ladders are on and I get everything placed up on that accessory rack. It's going to look awesome. It's going to look pretty good. I'm quite excited about it. Now on to some of the meat and potatoes of these modifications we've done to this SCX10. In there, you can see that giant chunk of brass. So we've got a big Injora. That's the outer portal cover, and it's got that big slab of brass hooked to the bottom of it. It is just enormous, very, very heavy, and that's going to give me a lot of grip over the front wheels, which is awesome. I've also upgraded the diff covers. You can see right there, the original ones were a red plastic, and I've upgraded them both. These are actually made of brass, but they've got like a black coating on them. And then one thing you don't see is that the factory or the RTR wheel hexes were just, you know, a standard kind of size and whatever alloy they use. So I've upgraded those to brass as well from Injora. I believe I think they were 6 or 9 millimeters, something like that. So we've got a bit of a wider track on this now. You can see the tires sticking out from the fenders a little bit. They do touch, unfortunately, but that's at full flex. Still get a pretty decent little tuck in the back. So didn't go crazy wide, but just a little bit wider, give a little bit of a wider track, a little more stability on some of those obstacles. Other than that, guys, I am leaving this truck RTR stock, meaning it's got the stock 35 turn motor that it came with, ESC receiver, radio. I'm just going to run it on 3S. And that's it. We're not doing anything too crazy to this thing. So is it going to be the best performer out there? No, probably not. But I don't really care about that anyway. This is more just for fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. This has been a long time coming. And one of the coolest things about going down here is that I've actually got a friend to go down with. So one of you guys reached out and said, hey, I'm down in Portland. Come down, pick me up. We'll go down there together. I live in Victoria, British Columbia. I got to cross the border, head south to Portland. That's going to be about a 7 or 8 hour drive, crash for the night. And then from there, we're going to beeline it straight to Axialfest, another 10-hour drive or so. So it's going to be quite the journey getting there, getting back. I got my trusty Land Rover all fitted. We put brand new brakes on it all around. I've been bleeding brakes for 2 weeks, trying to get every little air bubble out. It's driving me crazy. But that is done. The disco is ready to go. And speaking of disco, I got one more cool thing I got to show you guys in this episode. So as I mentioned before, guys, I'm going to be bringing a bunch of stickers and stuff to hand out. So if you guys see me, be sure to come over and say hello. And how will you know it's me? Well, check out this cool banner I scored.
Excellent!
Now that is pretty awesome. It just came in the other day. I think the colors on it are incredible. It's a really thick, kind of a high-grade vinyl, indoor-outdoor vinyl. Got these grommets and stuff. So I'm going to be hanging this off of my vehicle while we're there. If you want to just come by, say hello. It'd be awesome to meet some of you guys. We've got stickers to hand out. I've got these awesome fridge magnets to hand out. I've got a whole bunch of buttons to hand out. So be sure to come over, say hello, score some free swag. So my goal is to give you guys some updates along the way, some updates while we're there, maybe do a few shorts, that kind of thing, and then give you a nice kind of follow-up video at the end to really go over and give you guys a full in-depth kind of look into what Axialfest 2024 was like. I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. But before we head out for Axialfest, don't forget there's also raffles happening right now to win 2 of my RC cars, the Tamiya BT01 and the Tamiya MB01. I've got bundles available again right now, so click the links down below. Help support the channel and score some sweet RC cars. Thank you all again so much for watching Poor Boys RC, and until next time, be excellent to each other. Man, this thing's heavy. Damn. Excellent to each other.